Hi everyone, Madonna here, and this is Emily. She's living in Boston, originally from DC, but she's studying in Sydney at the moment, having a fun old time. So we're going to do an insomnia balance. So we'll see what stress is in there. Let's have a play. So, have you ever had kinesia before?
No.
Okay. Well, by the end of this, you might be addicted to it. So firstly, we'll just give your indicator muscles a go so you know what I'm talking about. So hold your arm up. I want you to resist. Hold. Beautiful. And hold. Okay. Just going to switch off your central meridian, which takes energy away from the frontal cortex. Hold up for me. Feel the unlock?
Yeah.
And hold. So then I'm going to switch your central meridian on again, so send more energy to the frontal cortex. Studying health science, you've seen those pictures of the brain?
Yeah.
And hold, and hold. So that's a lock and an unlock, which tells me they work, which means we can get started. So with insomnia, when did it start?
Well, I had transient insomnia all throughout college, but then it became like 6 months ago, just like never getting tired anymore and having to take medication to fall asleep every night. And
nothing had happened emotionally particularly?
No, I was actually like the most like unstressed I had been. I was like taking classes that are all really easy. I got like all A's and
yeah, right.
But I just stopped getting tired.
Okay, so I'm going to check your adrenal, survival, deep survival, hidden deep survival first. So pulling on the big toe, so that little muscle in there. Okay, hold up for me, nice and strong. Hold up. Okay. And hold up. Yeah, so that's your whole running on adrenaline all the time thing. Mm-hmm. And hold. That's survival switching, that's okay. Because I suspect, maybe there is something that triggered with hormones or something like that. Hold up for me. Okay, that one's deep survival. And hold up for me. Yeah, okay. So you've got the deep survival and hidden deep survival. So your unconscious brain is just there running in the background. So you're like that little mouse on the treadmill. Just going all the time. Okay, beautiful. So do I need to do celestial circuit first? No. Okay, where's this pattern stored? EMC, MMC, PVSS. Okay. Do I need any more information before I go in there? No. Okay. So the PVSS is the periventricular survival system. So it's a bit around the ventricles in the brain. Have you done much study on the brain yet?
We haven't gone super into depth because it was like every single part of the body in
yes.
like 4 months. But I mean, I've learned basics.
Yeah, okay. Hold out for me. Don't let me pull together. Hold out. Yeah, okay. So that's the anterior cingulate gyrus. It's the part, just thinking about anxiety, depression, ADHD, that sort of thing, it's the part that picks on you when you're not perfect. Who's more like that, your mum or your dad?
My dad is the one with, he has clinical depression like his whole life.
Yeah, okay.
Which is something, I mean, like he's like manly man, so like I didn't even know until I went off to college, and I feel like I learned a lot about my parents when I went off to college. And, like,
that's cool.
Learned all this stuff. Like a lot of stuff that I was struggling with that like my dad had too, and it's like it reassures the fact that you're your parents' child.
Absolutely. And has he ever thought about where that depression came from? Or have you
he never talks about it.
Yeah, okay. Because there's nearly always somewhere. I mean, it can be genetic, of course, or our receptors can be jammed and we're just not taking up serotonin, dopamine, that sort of thing, but there's often somewhere.
I think I suffer more with anxiety and my dad suffers more with depression.
Yeah, okay. And how does the anxiety affect you?
Honestly, at first, like, I didn't even want to take medication because it was what drove me to do academics. Like, being so anxious that I would do poorly is what drove me to study so hard.
Yeah.
But once it became, like, unhealthy, I just, like, I started taking medication for it. But, I don't know where it, like, came from. But it really is about, it just happened.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, I'm way harder on myself than my parents are on me. Like, my drive to do well in school is all from me.
Well, it's a
My parents are like, you could be anything you want, and I chose to go into the medical field, which is
Yes.
like, cut through it.
And is it still crazy in the US with the cost of the courses, the cost of the training?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm paying it for, like, a year is $65,000.
Okay.
I was very, very lucky to have parents that saved from when I was a baby.
Wow. So what happens after this 4 years? Where do you go on to then?
Physician's assistant school. That's 2 years with, it's built in with residency.
Yes.
And we'll see, hopefully I get into a good physician's assistant school. I've passed all the mandatory courses. I'll apply April of next year.
Yes. One of my sons is about to go into uni in hopefully the next few months as a mature age student, and I'm hoping he's got as much get up and go as he's talking about. Are there subjects that you just have to get through because you know you have to get through them, or you're just loving everything at the moment?
I actually, I thought, as someone that was interested in health science since I was in kindergarten, I thought biologies would be so fun. But I excel in chemistries.
Wow.
And biologies are really hard because it's just like, it's not logical, it's just like memorize the stuff.
Yes, yes.
And I was never really amazing at that. But like, when I'm interested in something, like there are certain parts of the body that I'm just interested in, and I'll just like memorize it because it's so much fun.
Yes.
But other parts that you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember when I sent away, because I did my naturopathy initially by correspondence, so like 28 years ago or something ago, and my first 3 subjects were chemistry, biochemistry and physics, I think, and I was like, no, what are you doing to me? I was expecting herbs or iridology or nutrition. No.
It's actually really interesting. I have never had any sort of like anything holistic done at all.
Yeah,
and
right.
And I didn't know how it would feel, but like I can like feel, like it feels like waves of like energy.
Yeah. Yeah, cool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the liver meridian. So I've gone into the sympathetic nervous system, which is overloaded. It's overworking, so it's your parasympathetics having a hard time switching off. And I'm now working on the organs that are being affected by having been running on stress hormones for so long. And the first one that's shown up is the liver. Has your mum, who's more a natural girl, so has she had natural therapies done on her, or more just taken supplements?
Just taking supplements. Like she only takes like over the counter, like natural things.
Obviously I've been doing kinesi forever, and I just can't imagine not having a good kinesiologist in my life. I literally, like 2 weeks ago, found one 500 metres that way. So
I don't think it's as popular, just like where I am. It's just like so much more popular, all the chemical medicine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was a huge debate over here because just 3 months ago in Australia, on the 1st of March, for the first time in 23 years, they took a whole 18 natural therapies off the health fund rebates. So the government did that, which feels like a massive step backwards. Second organ showing up is pancreas, so liver, pancreas, blood sugar levels and all that sort of thing. Hold in for me, don't let me pull towards me, hold. Did you end up getting brekkie this morning?
Yes.
What'd you have?
A ham and cheese toasting.
Okay, hold in. Okay, so, and what time was that?
30 minutes before I got here. So
Yeah,
at
right.
9:30.
Okay, so with ham and cheese, you can imagine blood sugar levels, so they would release glucagon. So, but you can imagine sometimes the bread will outweigh the amount of protein and fats on there.
Yeah.
So at the moment, your blood sugar isn't balanced still from lunchtime, from breakfast. So that unlock is a pancreas test. I'll check spleen as well. Hold down for me. I'm lifting up. No, it's not spleen. So it's the pancreas organ spleen meridian. Hold down. No, that's fine. Just more pancreas, which of course is part of the thing with lots of hormonal things. If your pancreas has a hard time balancing. How's your diet while you've been over here?
My diet's never amazing because I just like, I don't know, I don't get hungry that much. I only get hungry like once a day and then I have like a big meal.
Yeah. So you do actually do that?
Yeah, like I only eat.
So have you read about the benefits of intermittent fasting? Have they been talking about that at college yet?
No,
Hold
they
in
don't
for
talk
me.
about diet that much.
Hold in. Because, there's some amazing studies on intermittent fasting. So if you could actually choose the correct food during that time, if you're only hungry once a day, I have no problem with people eating once a day if they're doing it mindfully.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the study's incredible. Like it releases brain, the little doodads that make new brain cells be created by not eating for 18 hours. It's fantastic for things like dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff like that. Like they're finding anyway, some good brain stuff. So it basically helps to regenerate the brain. It sort of kickstarts a whole bunch of detox processes after 12 hours. Every hour you do after 12 hours doubles the benefit of the previous 12 hours. Intermittent fasting is amazing. Yeah, there's some cool stuff on it.
I once had like a dietitian look at my diet and they were like, Emily, you're not eating like enough calories at all during the day, and when you are eating calories you're like eating sugar because that's what I'm like addicted to.
Yeah.
And like they're like, you're basically not even living on like carbs like as energy, you're basically living on a sugar high.
Yeah, not so good for you long term. The next organ showing up is kidneys. So you know the filters of the body, so kidneys the last filter. So the muscle test, do you get hip problems or lower back pain?
Lower back pain.
Okay.
I've had that
forever?
Since, yeah, like
Okay.
5th grade.
So because it's been forever, I'm going to do 3 tests on each side. So the pectineus, the psoas and the iliacus. So hold the leg up, don't let me push down. Yeah, so that's a little itsy bitsy one. Hold up for me. That's the psoas. And the big one, hold, and that's the iliacus. So not
you can
lots
feel
of
me trying
so
so hard.
nothing working on this side. And hold up. Iliacus, hold up. Psoas, and hold. No, so none of them. Pectineus, psoas, iliacus on both sides. So thinking about anxiety, that relates to the kidney meridian, and this can cause insomnia as well. So with the kidney meridian, it relates to fear and anxiety, so it can drive that survival stuff in the background. So that's the kidney meridian. I just use the magic number of 3. 99% of the time that just tends to work. But this little spot down through here is about the amygdala.
My mom has always told me like that 3 is a magic number. She always used to like whenever we would watch the news every single night, and when something would happen, like a celebrity would die, she'd be like, 2 more are gonna die this week, and
Oh,
then
wow.
they would, and or like anything that would happen, she's like, that was gonna be 3.
Yeah, well, we crashed one of our cars about 3 weeks ago. Then I was driving home like 2 days later and I saw a car crash in front of me. And then I was riding home on the motorbike the other night and the foot brake stopped working.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'd never been so grateful for the handbrake in my life. Going along a highway, going, okay. That's my 3. That's what I thought. That's my 3. It's happened.
We could stop. We don't have to worry about that anymore this week.
Something else I need for the kidneys. Okay, so let me have a look. Now, something more electrical rather than physical. Base chakra. Oh, you know how you're not much of an outdoorsy sunshine girl?
Mm-hmm.
It's the grounding. So, okay, so both base chakra and 8th chakra are showing up. So this one here is the base. Hold up for me. Okay, now I'm just going to put the combo in of base, adrenals, and sphenoid bone. And hold up for me. Okay. It's classic ADHD not being grounded too, by the way. Hold it, sort of, yeah, okay. So you've got 3rd stage stress with the base chakra.
I feel like added to my not being super outdoorsy, I'm like allergic to everything outside.
Yeah, right.
So like it's never a good experience going outside because
so dusts, pollens, molds,
everything, and
grasses.
Like, yeah, it's like what we knew I had asthma whenever like I started having an asthma attack in 4th grade. Just from from sleeping in a guest bedroom that had dust mites, and I kept not being able to breathe for like a week before my dad came home because he wasn't home during the weeks because he would travel, and he came home. He's like, she's not breathing. We need to take her to the hospital because they took me to. We left this doctor, but we took her to a doctor, and she was like, she just has the flu. She's just exaggerating. She's trying to get attention and I was actually having an asthma attack.
So the feet was only 1st stage stress, whereas the base chakra, which is of course where all those muscles are connected, that one's 3rd stage stress. But because you mentioned balances out, I'm just going to check your foot proprioceptors on the bottom of the feet, just gently touching and hold. No, they're okay. What about these little guys? And hold. Okay, hold. Right. Do you wear sensible shoes? You are a good sensible shoe girl?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm too tall for like high heels and exciting shoes like that.
Okay, so there's something more we need to do with the... So once again, is this linked in with the insomnia? Yeah, it is. Okay. So 3rd stage base chakra. So you know about chakras?
Yeah.
So weird little energy fields around the body, yeah. They tend to spiral and, do the loops and all sorts of things. And you travel well?
I actually haven't traveled. My family, we used to travel all the time, and then we started saving money when I was around like 10.
Yeah.
And I hadn't traveled since then,
yeah,
really.
Right.
I mean, I've driven places. I like drove to Toronto, but not gone on the plane and like visited out of the country.
Wow. So Australia's huge then.
Yeah. Yeah. And I knew and I really, really wanted to come, and my boyfriend's like, I'm not going, I'm scared there's spiders. So
well,
like, I'll go alone.
It's winter, there's less spiders in winter. That is funny. One of my friends who's a Kiwi, when she first got to Australia, she used to walk outside with her feet going up all the place and keeping an eye out for snakes. Just hilarious.
At our orientation for University of Sydney, our instructor showed us a slide, and it was like what foreigners scared of, and it was a picture of like spiders and snakes, and it said what Australians are scared of, and it was a picture of a bird because they're scared of all the birds swooping in and taking your food.
Oh, I hate magpies. It's true. That is funny. So the combination of tuning forks we need to use is adrenals and liver, which once again goes hand in. Oh, are there any patches through the night where you sleep well when you do get a sleep?
I will sleep. Well, yeah, I go into super deep sleep, and I'll like wake up and like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna sleep for hours, and it's been like 15 minutes. Yeah. So like I get really deep sleep for these like small amounts of like 15 minutes to an hour, but then I wake up hourly, so I wake up feeling tired, even though I feel like I've had deep sleep.
Yeah. Okay. So adrenals was first, not liver. So adrenal, liver energy. So running on adrenaline, messing up your liver. So 1 to 3 a.m., that's what I was going to say. 1 to 3 a.m. is liver time. So if we're not sleeping, and this will link in with other health stuff as well. So when your liver isn't getting good sleep through your liver time and for a couple of hours beforehand, which obviously insomnia does that, means your liver's struggling.
I always wake up around there and like
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I have to run to the bathroom, or like, oh, like, I always check the time whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, or I can just tell from looking at the sun.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. And the pineal thing as well, then your pineal needs waking up, so making sure you get sunshine on your pineal gland in the morning can be a really big thing. Because you know it's like the whale, you know, so sunshine actually activates the pineal gland because it's not far in there. So, and the bone's quite, anyway. So good old sunshine on the pineal gland. Okay. I don't know what, you're good at personal power, you're good at boundaries, you're good at, you know, that sort of stuff isn't part of your anxiety or stress.
No.
Okay. Because Southern Cross is the fluorescence showing up. It's it's generally the energy of when something's been going wrong and we just feel like, oh, something's going wrong. So it's that real, I'm not finding a solution, I'm just feeling in that energy sort of thing. And I suppose after lying in bed for 8 hours and not sleeping, that would be a real bummer.
Yeah.
Why me?
It's even more than 8 hours. It's like, because I know the insomnia, so I get into bed at like 8, even though, like, even with the medication, I'll fall asleep at like 1. Without medication, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Until I tell myself, you got to take something because you're not falling asleep.
Yeah, right. It's like your subconscious brain's got a victim mentality around the insomnia. No, that's clear. Nice. So those are locked. Do we need some of the essences? Yes, we do. Just add, so this will just continue to help grounding. 3 drops. It's got brandy in it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
3 drops. Okay, recheck the organs again. Still in the sympathetic nervous system that got distracted by the chakras. Okay, so let's recheck this little chakra again. And hold. And hold. Okay, so we've taken it from 3rd stage, like chronic fatigue of your base chakra, down to 2nd stage, which is your ADHD base chakra. So we need to calm that one down. Okay, what do we need to do for that? Okay, anything in there? Nope, nope, no. Oh, another essence. That one. It's an Australian bush flower essence. It's for letting go. But you're not thinking all night long when you're lying there in bed? Like it's not your...
That was like usually what kept me up when I was like in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm really like relaxed and I'm not thinking as much, no, it's just like a lack of being tired.
Yeah. It's a good way to put it. 3 drops. So that's a 3 again. And again. Hold. And hold. Yeah, that's that's good. So that's locking and unlocking the way it's supposed to. So we've got the base chakra back to normal. Let's go check that 8th chakra again.
I knew it turned from like transient to like chronic insomnia whenever, because I used to love naps. Like my mom loves naps. We would always nap together, like on the couches, like when I came home from school every day, and like I just stopped napping because I stopped getting tired, and I haven't had a nap in 6 months, and like my mom knows how much I love napping, so I'm like, Mom, I think I have insomnia. Why? I'm like, I'm not tired anymore, and I haven't napped in like 6 months.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I mean, talk to the doctor.
Yeah. And have they adjusted doses of things with it?
Yeah, so in Massachusetts, I'm medical marijuana recipient, but before that they gave me a bunch of different types of sleeping medication. That's what made me like turn, because just like the amount of it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't make me tired, but then it would make me knock out for like 15 hours.
Yes.
And it's like when you're in school you can't really do that.
Yeah.
So but I was just like, and I think a lot of their medication had to do with anxiety, and I think that's what a lot of people think, like, oh, it's insomnia because of anxiety, but I genuinely do not think so, because none of those worked. Like, it was basically anti-anxiety sleeping meds, but they did not work.
Yeah, the Valiums and diazepams and that sort of thing. Yeah. Good. Clear. Okay, so the 8th chakra is showing up good as well. So once again, going back into PVSS, something there. Oh yeah, so then I was in the reticular activating system, and that was the noradrenaline. So just, and that will keep the brain wired all the time, because it's like keeping your brain open for all those spiders and snakes and crocodiles and sharks and, you know. Yeah, none of those bother me as much as a needle does. Ugh.
I'm really good with needles. Since I was like a kid, and I just got a kitten, and she's really good. Like, she does not move during shots, and I'm like, wow. Oh, she got it from me.
It's amazing.
But if you give her anything, like anything in her mouth, like she had to take heartworm, I think it's heartworm, dewormer. If you put that in her mouth, oh, she gets so mad. But a shot, she didn't even notice it. Even the microchipping shot, which is like, that has something in it, so that is supposed to hurt.
Yeah. And it was fine. Amazing. So you felt all those unlock. So those are to do with the immune system and inflammatory pathways. I might muscle test the medications and just sort of see about the receptors, see whether any of those are, whether there's a drug residue in, say, the liver or kidneys that's messing with your melatonin and serotonin. Have you been checked for an MTHFR gene?
I don't think so.
Okay. So
I feel like I haven't really been tested for like genes, more just like levels of hormones. And
okay. So the MTHFR gene, there's a couple of different subtypes, but basically if we've got that gene, and just thinking about your dad, it can mess with your conversion of melatonin to serotonin and back again. So then it's the activated Bs we need to support that pathway. So